are cooking or talking or cleaning, or the doctor is coming, or somebody else is, the teacher is teaching. And so this is what she picks up.
Yes, yes.
In the imaginative play. She becomes the teacher, she becomes the mother, she becomes the mother who's going to have a baby.
Yes.
She becomes all the other things, doctor, and she makes. So the adults must be there doing all these things with the appropriate language input. Because how do you play teacher, teacher and student, student, school, school, unless you know what the teacher is saying and what the students are saying? That also comes in. So in all this mental development, the mediation of language is the most important. And language begins to develop from birth, and so does mental development start taking from birth itself. Okay, for that. And then as language, the first thing for the language to develop is the sound. Language is a system of sound symbols. These children don't have sound itself because they are deaf. So the first thing they have to do is to make sound available for them like it is for a normal child 24/7. Even in our sleep we are hearing. Now unfortunately we can't put it on 24 hours, but then waking hours, putting on the hearing aid all the time is a first priority. First priority. And so, what do we do first? The moment the child comes. So the first thing we do is that you are telling me that your child is deaf. So now what do? Today the hearing aids are available. We put on the hearing aids, whichever ones are there. Whichever ones are available. You don't have to buy the expensive ones or whatever it is. The first thing that you have to do is put on the hearing aids on the child, and proper binaural hearing aids. 2 hearing aids. Right? One in each ear. Even with the pocket models, I've got 2 pocket models. Isn't it? You're wearing 2. And getting the child to wear the hearing aids throughout the waking hours. That is the most important thing with the child. Because then we are going to make sound available to him like we are going to make it available for the normal child. Already he has lost whatever it is, 2 months, 3 years, 2.5, whatever it is. He has lost it now. So then it becomes even more vital that the sound is made available to him. And at first, if the longer the period has been there without the hearing aid, the more the resistance is going to come towards the hearing aid. Because the child is going to adjust. If he doesn't have sound, he is going to depend on vision. And he has made life comfortable for himself through vision. So the child of 2.5 years also has become visual oriented. The people around also, oh, he doesn't hear, so make it seem, lip reading, this, that and the other, they concentrate more on the vision. So if you're going to concentrate on the vision, through vision you don't learn language. No way can you learn speech and language. So how to get him to shift his preoccupation with vision to sound, and that is the next trick. First putting on the hearing aids, getting those molds ready, getting the child to wear them comfortably, all these things come in. The child has to wear them comfortably. There's got to be a comfort level. Anything that is uncomfortable is going to itch, or it is going to hurt, or it is going to irritate, the child is going to reject it. So because of that, I have found that, and they say that you have to put them on as soon as you detect deafness. So we have detected this baby at the age of 2 months. Once he's been detected, then it becomes imperative that we have to put the hearing aids on him. So what we have done is, we have chosen 2 pocket models. We have made a harness, sort of a strap, and we have put the hearing aids about 6 inches at the side on his chest. And then a pocket model has a cord, and the cord can be taken inside and put here into the ear. Those tiny little molds have been made for him, the 2-month-old babies. For a baby, this becomes another thing. The molds have to be changed very often because the baby's ear is growing. And as every 6 months they have to be changed, maybe even earlier. because the ear size grows, the ear, this cavity, the shape of it changes, the ear mold doesn't fit, becomes loose, and then you start getting a feedback. So making the ear mold is a thing with small children. All children, their molds have to be made at least once a year. Once they are grown up, then you don't have to, because this is not growing at all. So the molds were made, and the 2 hearing aids were put into his harness. And even if the child, of course it is uncomfortable means, with him it never became uncomfortable because he was only 2 months old. This new thing, actually it was something I wish we could have filmed him then. The moment we put up the hearing aid, sort of, intense look on his face, his eyes lit up, and immediately as if something new he was experiencing. Yes, as if something new he was experiencing. For the first time he had heard sound. And he never rejected it. I mean, he would sometimes do this, take it out. But the cord is there, the molds are taken. On top of the harness, you can put on a frock or a bonnet or a shirt or whatever it is that you can. And the hearing, the cord goes from here into your ear. So even if it takes it out, it just falls here. It's so easy for the mother to put it back here. This is why the hearing aids have a good amplification. They are analog, they are not digital. Pocket models are never digital. They are all analog. But then the child needs analog. Doesn't matter. He learns to make sense out of this buzzing, booming confusion of sound. He learns to do that. And that is what the normal situation is in any case. No matter how much this sound is irritating me, I can't block it. I don't need only silence. The normal child is also living in a normal buzzing, booming sound confusion, isn't it? And out of that, he begins to pick out the sounds which are important to him. Most important, the mother's voice, the caregiver's voice. The child doesn't have to grow up in a world of silence, only one voice. The child grows up in all the sounds. And out of that, he begins to make sense out of the mother's voice. How did we make him accept it? He told the mother that while in the morning, while the baby is fast asleep, say at about 5 o'clock in the morning, put on the hearing aids at that time, turn them on. No, before that also, we have to teach the mother to check whether the hearing aids are working properly. Checking the hearing aids every day, the mother has to be trained in that. The mother has to be trained in checking the hearing aids. Each individual hearing aid has to be checked. Mothers don't know anything about it. Mothers have to be told, at night when you take the hearing aid off, the battery has to be removed from the hearing aid. Next day when you put it on, the battery has to be put inside, and the mother has to check the hearing aid on her own ears with the 5 sound test, which is A, U, E, Sh, S, It's not really 5 sound, it is 6 sounds. A, U, E, Sh, S, These sounds, if she hears them clearly with her own ears, then she increases the volume a little bit more because that child is deaf, and puts the hearing aids on him while the child is asleep, and then leaves him, let him sleep. She doesn't disturb him, let him sleep. But every half an hour or so, just instead of waking up the child, don't wait for the child to wake up by himself, but you tell the child, you call out to the child. The process of giving meaning to the child, meaning to the sound, has to be explained to the mother and the caregiver, and the mother is told that every sound that you hear, you have to name it. You have to take the child to it, the source of the sound, and tell him that, oh, this is a doorbell, somebody has come, open the door. So this sound is a doorbell, and this has to be done repeatedly. Oh, I can hear footsteps, maybe Papa has come. So the mother has to give meaning to every sound that takes place, and talk about it, that this is the sound of footsteps, this is the sound of somebody knocking at the door.